but if we would be able to, I'm calling the meeting to order, and if we can start with the roll call.
Yes, of course. Okay. All right, so Dylan is here. Carolyn.
Here.
Harrison is here. Will is here. Adele.
Here.
Akwe.
Here.
Aziza.
Here.
Brendan.
Here.
Christine.
Here.
David. David. Devon.
Here.
Jordan. Jordan. Okay, Miriam. I think she's
Here.
gonna. Oh, you're here. Okay. Mira.
Here.
Afnan.
Here.
Naveen. No problem, David. Naveen. Okay, Robert.
I meant to message in the chat, but Naveen is requesting absence.
Oh, thank you. Robert. Socket. Here. Satava. Satava. Swetha.
Here.
Tanvi.
Here.
Tonanzit.
Here.
Zara. Here.
Here.
Brianna. Do you also request the absence?
She's running a bit late, I believe.
No problem. Camila.
Here.
Pragya.
Here.
Ricky.
Here.
Sarah.
Here.
Awesome. That's it for roll call.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. If anyone did not receive the agenda or the Zoom meeting link, I'm sorry, I thought I included all the new senators and judicial counsel, but please just message, just private message me in the WhatsApp, or yeah, private message me the preferred email in the WhatsApp if you had any issues accessing that. Moving forward, we now have approval of the minutes from the last meeting. So if there's no objection, we will be approving the minutes from the last Association General Body meeting on November 16th, 2020. Okay, hearing no objection, the minutes from the last meeting have been approved. We're now going to move along to executive board reports. I'm sure something that a lot of students and a lot of association members are excited to hear about, the Pass No Credit efforts. I don't know if the president wants to take it.
All right, so as you know, that survey has about 13,000 respondents so far, and that's just pretty much like organic friends sharing it around. People saw it on Instagram, like, wow, I got to send that. I asked for it to be open one more day today so that the Newark campus could get some more representation in that. So I do ask that you please send it to your friends, your classmates, any organizations you're involved with. I'm going to be coordinating like basically all day around that, sharing it around, making sure people fill it out, just so that we increase that count and increase it for Newark. And it'll be really important. And after today, the final report will be written, and then we'll be using that to advocate to higher administration. We were going to be meeting with like Newark campus administration, but obviously the situation developed. Yes, e-boards can send it to their members. Please do. That would be awesome, so we can increase that count. But since the situation developed, and the university's kind of having to look at this more now, the campus administrations are holding off a little more. But the goal right now is just to increase that count, just so we can use that final report and it has more weight to it. Are there any questions about that or the survey?
Thank you, President. Of course, at any point, if you have any questions, please just interject with point of information. Pardon me, I'm just trying to pull up the letter that University Senator Gavin was sending to, I believe the University Senator Gavin was sending to the high-level Rutgers administration, the Board of Governors, to be specific. So I'm just going to read some of the findings from the letter overall. So it's sent to Ms. Kimberly Pasfa from the Board of Governors, and this is as of when they had 12,000 responses, but about 8,000 students faced major changes to their courses after the semester began. The average rating for how instructors adapted was 2.7, with 1 being a strong negative effect on a scale of 1 to 5. And moreover, nearly 12,000 responses. Nearly all the students want to see pass no credit reinstated. To clarify, this would be an option. This would not be mandatory for anyone. And the dialogue and consensus among the university senators and students to this point, to the best of my understanding, is that students are aware of the impact on graduate school admissions. So this would not be a factor in that, and this gives students additional flexibility if they are facing challenges, given that administrators, faculty, and staff are still adjusting, often in the middle of the semester. And so far, this has been very trying for everyone. So this gives students a little bit more flexibility. It allows them to at least gain credit for their courses or have it not overly negatively impact their GPA. So that's pass no credit. Please do reshare the tiny URL. Like our president said, it's open just for 1 more day. We're trying to get as much representation from Newark as possible so those students' voices are heard. And this is being pushed to the Board of Governors and their meetings with Hallway that are ongoing or being scheduled. Moving forward, the Chancellor Spring 2021 plan, we've been over this a couple of weeks now, but 10% in-person or hybrid. Obviously, cases are spiking right now. There will likely be exemptions for higher education in regards to the 10-person limit on indoor gatherings, especially for graduate or laboratory work. Rutgers is working on those at the moment. Testing will be continued or expanded. Within the legacy Google Drive, this is now item C, we have added the 2017 minutes. Hopefully we're awaiting some past contacts from the association to see if we can get 2018 added in there as well. We're just trying to make that as comprehensive as possible so students have that record. For further meeting collaborations, hopefully we can follow up with Vice Chancellor Gunkel and Provost Monga, just to talk about past no credit efforts on our campus. We have a diversity committee meeting. I believe that some association members met with the IRC and Gary. And then there are 20 spa shirts recovered, according to our president.
That is correct. So this is kind of like an ongoing thing. I finally just got them. So a former SPA senator. They ordered SPA apparel in 2017, and he's been holding on to like the leftovers since, like not knowing what to do with them. So, I mean, it's not that much. I'm just kind of like fanboying over it because I think it's cool. Like we got these shirts back. Let me try to give you. Can't really see that well. Okay, so it's for Rutgers SPA, and then on the back it's bigger. So I've got 20 of these. SPA senators, they're there for you if you want, whenever you want to use them. If you want to incorporate them into like a program, now, next semester, or do a giveaway, whatever, it's just there for you to have.
Thank you, President. And then we also have a proposal regarding use of funds, I believe.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right, we're the semester's basically over, right? We still got a lot of money left. Student life's more or less going to be the same, maybe a little different next semester, right? But more or less, not much is going to fundamentally change. We will be having conversations soon on like what are we doing for student orgs and student life. That'll be coming soon. Our student affairs centers will be needed in those conversations. Maybe in the meantime, our student affairs centers could take this idea up and spearhead it. So this is something that was just discussed between the executive board and Dean Williams, just making use of our funds and recognizing that this is like an investment for the long term if we were to do this. And we wouldn't even see it really, probably most of it, until next fall, right? I mean, I won't be here, but I think it's kind of smart if we were to do this. So the idea is that we kind of stockpile a lot of supplies that student life would be able to use. So for example, megaphones. Nobody ever has a megaphone. Whenever student orgs have a rally or a big event or something happens, right? And there's no time for a purchase order. There's no time for finding something. The plans change. We don't need this anymore. We need this, right? So what if SGA invested in megaphones, some tents, some blank tents, some extra tablecloths, banner, battery candles, right? Microphone and speaker system, some things that then clubs can then use as needed, right? And we can have a sign out system, and we can just kind of have a more involved role for SGA in the future, right? With student life, right? So there's a lot that could be in there. We could pass it as like a lump sum kind of budget, like we could call it, I don't know, investing in our future budget, the administrative budget, whatever, right? It's up to you guys. But other things could be like, we have some posters for events in the office that aren't hanging yet with the others out in the hallway. We can get some frames for those. There's any tech supplies that we want to get as an association, and that student organizations could use, that's in there. But basically, this is all up, for us to figure out if we want to do this. I think it would be kind of smart, since we haven't done anything much with the money, and SGA just hasn't been able to fulfill that role, I guess, in the past. I think it would just be pretty cool. And there's also like our office is pretty cluttered. We'd have to go through a lot of things, maybe move some furniture, throw out some furniture. Maybe we buy a cabinet that can lock up, make more use of vertical space. But yeah, that's more or less just the idea. And maybe our student affairs centers would want to take that up, and we can really draft like a line item budget here of like what we'd want to invest in.
Thank you, President. At least from my perspective and from the conversations we've had from the executive board, these big ticket items, right? Like, for example, tents, microphones, speakers, a sound system. These are all items that a lot of student organizations need, and they typically rent from outside vendors. So, like, if the association, right, that is Student Governing Association, were able to provide these to the student body, that way, like, we're able to help student organizations in a far more effective way, right? This ensures that they can use their funds for actual events rather than the materials or the, capital equipment, right? And this just ensures our commitment to the student body and helps us invest in that. Of course, I would love to see, collaboration from student affairs senators like our president has mentioned, having legislation be brought through the speaker and myself. But I highly encourage all the senators to consider this. And I think, given the times, it may be particularly effective. I remember a recent event where the sound system had to be set up because of some equipment difficulties. I understand that our progressive Democrats and other activist groups are really active on this campus. So I think, like, for example, microphone or, megaphone would see a lot of use if they were available for students or student organizations to rent out. The exact provisions, for example, might include if there was any damage, student organizations might pay for a portion out of it, like maybe a fraction of it from their club funding, right? Just to ensure some sort of investment, right, and some sort of liability so that they are responsible with the equipment. But I definitely foresee, given the amount of funding that the association has in comparison to the student organizations, I think this is an opportunity for us to capitalize on that. Laptops for senators who might need them, or even for, maybe even student organizations to rent out. I know there was a mention of iPads. Obviously, once we shift hopefully back into in-person events, RadarLink sign-ins are frequently used, and it's often a last-minute scramble to configure the app or technology to scan people's barcodes or QR codes. So that might be, worth considering if there was just iPads, for event sign-ins. But yeah, obviously there's plenty of ideas to discuss. Hopefully the student affairs senators and general legislative body can take this on and consider it. I think we're currently waiting on a couple more minutes for our Chief of Finance to come back with a budget proposal. But for the moment, I'm going to look through and see if I can find the presentation in my email to share screen. Are there any points of information that senators or association members would like to clarify?
Hi, Mr. Chair, may I be recognized?
Recognized.
Hi, my only question, I'm sorry, this is again David Doughty, this is the Student Affairs Senator. My question would be, of course, I totally support it and I'm down with it. Around what time frame would this be set up for to have a meeting to go through this line by line budget item?
That's a great question. And I think ultimately that depends on the legislative by itself. When you are all available and able to set up times to meet with the student affairs senators, maybe Dean Williams when she comes back from the office, but mostly like the Chief of Finance, I would say. And I'm sorry, I know this is backtracking to a brief procedural bit. For incidental motions, like questions, points of procedure, anything like that, you do not need to request the floor. You can just interject that. Thank you, Senator. I would encourage anyone who's interested in this to reach out to our Chief of Finance. We'll begin collaborating with the Speaker and other senators as soon as possible, given that the semester ends quite soon. And if there are no classes ongoing, then we cannot meet as an association in an official capacity. So let me just check my notes. I believe our last association meeting, I have to go back a little bit to our executive board meeting notes. Terribly sorry for a delay. Our last association meeting would be in December. Let me see. December 7th would be the last meeting for the fall semester for Student Governing Association. Thank you, Vice President. Thank you, President. So I'm going to actually, I'm gonna present briefly. I know our Chief of Finance is currently out of the office, I'm going to just share my screen with the presentation. Is everyone able to see the budget presentation?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Fantastic, thank you. All right, so I know our Chief of Finance is, I don't know why it's flickering. Okay, anyways, I know our Chief of Finance is currently out of the office, but at the very least I can run through some brief terms and clarify any points for those of you who might be unfamiliar. I don't know why I'm having some difficulties. Terribly sorry about that. Oh, and he's back. Wonderful. Thank you, Will. Saved me there.
All right, can everybody see my screen?
yeah, we can see it.
Awesome, you'll have to give me a second. I'm huffing and puffing. I just ran up 2 flights of stairs. Okay, so for a lot of the senators that have been here the full time, a lot of this is going to be review, so I'm sorry about that. I know you didn't anticipate being in lecture today, but here we are. So to get started with, we have the key terms for what we're going to be talking about today. So first, it's the budget. So it's the plan for money from student campus fees to be distributed to students. SOIS, or the Student Organization Incentivization System. It's the previous system that we used to determine the amount of club funding that each one got. A term that stems from this is tiers. With that, that's the different level of funding that a club could achieve based on their different levels of activity. Allocations. So this is a separate ad hoc account that student organizations can apply to for funding. This year, we have a cap on it that student organizations can request a maximum of $5,050 per event. So it's ad hoc, which means that the money can be withdrawn as necessary. This is regulated by the allocations board, in which I sit as the chair thereof. And allocations is historically the most underutilized resource available to student organizations and has remained virtually untouched for the past multiple years. So currently the allocations fund actually has more money in it than the overall SGA budget has. So it's a very, very good resource for student orgs to be able to use, as they're actually the only ones that are able to utilize the money from this. And then ratified. So that's hopefully what we'll be able to get done in this next meeting. And it's an approval confirmation to make a previously taken action, AKA in this case, the budget, valid and active. In this case, it's going to require a 2/3 Senate majority. So this is just looking at the constitutional section. Can you all actually see this little section over here that has like the cameras and things on it? Okay.
You said cameras?
Okay, awesome. I just wanted to make sure that this wasn't blocking any of your all's view.
Oh, no.
So this is from the Constitution. It just says that the Chief of Finance shall submit a budget for the Association of the Senate for its approval. Upon ratification by a 2/3 vote, the Senate presents at a duly constituted general body meeting. The budget will be returned to the Chief of Finance, who shall present it to the Dean of Students, that is Dean Erica Williams, for review and ratification. So that's just kind of the process that we're about to go through. So historically, the amounts for the budget are laid out inside the Constitution. These are those amounts that it is. And so that's that 77.5% go to SOIS and club funding, 7.5% go to individual senator funding, and that 15% goes to the SGA general fund. Now, this year, we've done things a little bit differently just because this is such an unprecedented time. we've strayed away from that a little bit. Particularly, you'll see a massive difference in this 77.5% that is dedicated to SOIS, and that's just because student engagement and student life in general is so constrained that it's very difficult for them to be able to actually fully utilize the funds that are available to them. And so we've limited that down a little bit. More specifically for that, we have the fall 2020 budget. So with this, you had the 70.1% that was allocated to the SGA general fund, with 26% allocated to student organizations and 3.9% for individual SGA members to be able to use for their, independent like areas, interests, and things like that. For the 70.1%, the idea that we're running with that is that we are hopefully going to be able to utilize these funds to create a relief package available to students that was as diverse in options as it was for the students that we aim to be able to help. So we wanted to be able to come up with ideas and things in ways that we could help offset the financial burden to students, especially right now during coronavirus when a lot of people are losing jobs. So this is what it was for fall 2020. Now, what I'm proposing for the spring is very, very similar to this. The only difference that you're probably going to see is in that SGA member funding. And I'll go into that a little bit more after this slide right here. But for the proposed budget for spring 2020, I went ahead and I did a solid 27% allocated to SOIS. So that's money that'll be going to student organizations, and a solid 73% they'll just be going straight back into the general budget. So a little bit more of the justification for this is on the next page. And it's that for the overall budget, what we've seen as thus far, and that being that we have 2 weeks until we adjourn for the semester, that the only real fund that we have used the or that we've used our funds for is our emergency fund contribution. I believe that was 30-something%. I'm not entirely positive on the percent of that, but it is that $33,809 number that you see right there. So with that, we currently have a remaining balance of $62,770.70. Let's see, it looks like we have some chats. 35, yes, thank you so much. So down here, I went ahead and I adjusted the budget with the spring funds that we would be getting, assuming that this budget is passed, which would bring our overall budget out to $164,970. Now, the reason that I decided to take away the individual senator fund for this individual semester is just because, as of currently, there hasn't been any money that's actually been used by any independent senators. So instead of allocating more money to that, I decided that it would probably be better if we just allowed for the senators to use the money that they had and put that remaining money towards the general fund, so that hopefully we'll be able to use it for more relief programs. So over here on the side, I have some bullet points. It's just that this is the largest budget that we've actually seen in the history of the Rutgers Newark student government, and that this is very unprecedented, the fact that we're able to allocate this money to a general account to be able to use for programming and things. And so we're in a very unique situation to be able to help students, the most that we've ever been able to. We can make a definite impact here. This past fall semester, our focus has really been on getting the association functional. Despite COVID-19, there's been a lot of technological barriers, as well as just personal barriers, in trying to get, the association running to its fullest potential. And so as a result of that, we've had limited capacity for being able to utilize these funds and programmings for students. Something that hopefully in the spring, that would not be. And that's that last point that I just brought up, is that with these additional funds, we have to immediately shift our primary focus to be the development and execution of these relief programs to assist the larger student body.
Thank you, Chief of Finance. Our executive board was just adding some context in the chat. For the senators, if you would like to ask a question, you do not need to request the floor. You may just use the incidental motion and simply say point of information and then the question. So geofinance, point of information. Does the amounts from fall roll over to the spring? And can you clarify that?
They do. And so all of these student orgs will be able to keep the amount of money that they currently have in the spring, in addition to this money that will be allocated to them in this upcoming budget, as well as for us, all of the money that we currently have in all of our accounts will roll over into the spring for us to be able to use in addition with all the money that will also be allocated again. The only time that it doesn't roll over is from academic year to academic year. And during that time, it rolls over into the allocations ad hoc account. Do any of the senators have any questions about the proposal? Anything that I might be able to answer? Any questions about overall general justifications for, why a certain percentage was picked, or things omitted, things included, anything like that?
Point of information. So this is less relevant to the percentages, but more so for the senator funds and the money that the student orgs receive. In the last couple of weeks, have there been any more specific guidelines as to how that money can be spent?
So at the moment, it's still really kind of cloudy and how that money can actually be spent for student organizations. We've been hoping to be able to have a meeting with the Office of Student Life and Leadership, but that's been being pushed back for a little while now, just because they're hoping to actually be able to come up with a graphic, like a single page that they can push out to all student orgs that will provide a more comprehensive yes, no kind of style list to be able to answer some more questions holistically. And to be able to go over a little bit of the nuance between what is and isn't allowed with overall university policy.
Got it. Another point of information, is that the same with the senator funds as well?
So a little bit of yes, but also there's a little bit more ambiguity there as well. So with student organizations, they have very strict parameters for what they can spend their money on versus what they can't, just given that they are smaller entities within the entirety of the Rutgers organization. Whereas us as a governing body, we have a little bit more autonomy about what we're able to spend our money on. So it gets a little bit fuzzy, but for any specific questions about how we in particular can spend our money, I just ask that you direct those questions to me. And if I don't know the direct answer, I'll get in touch with our Dean of Students and have that promptly clarified.
Got it. Sorry, if I could have one more point of information. For the funds rolling over to the next semester, do we expect the guidelines to change in any way next semester, or do we expect it to be the same as this semester?
In terms of like the guidelines for like how it can be spent?
Yeah, correct.
So I wouldn't expect them to change too much overall, given that the guidelines are actually not just necessarily Rutgers Newark policies, but Rutgers policies in general for all three campuses. And so they're how should I say? They come out of like really basic ideas for things of like all money has to be spent in a way that's equitable to all students. But within that singular idea, there's a lot of nuance that comes into it. So I wouldn't expect necessarily as much of changes to come out of the policies, so much as clarifications as to what they actually deem to be something that would be equitable versus something that might not be as equitable.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief of Finance. I think clarifications is a great way to put it. Since the university policies aren't necessarily going to change, and with coronavirus cases increasing at the moment, I mean, the Chancellor's Spring 2021 plan has already been published, right? It looks like most Like most students will still be taking classes online, and most events will not be in person, right? So that will not change, but hopefully there will be more information available from Office of Student Life and Leadership. And also like more information, I know they're currently testing the Consolidates platform as a way to mail merchandise or items to students, and that way engage and make sure that it's equitable. So we're still just awaiting further information regarding that. If you do have ideas for Senator funds, I ask that you please do schedule a meeting with our Chief of Finance to discuss the possibilities. We'd be glad to hear them.
Absolutely everything Harrison just said. And then one thing that I did just think of on the topic of the overall budget that I forgot to mention before, I neglected to mention, should I say, sorry, is that with the SOIS funding as well. And this kind of goes back to the concern over so much ambiguity around how these funds can actually be used in the first place. And is that the vast majority of student orgs that we've given funding to in the fall 2020 have actually not used any of those funds yet. But that being said, of the student orgs that have used their funds, there's a median price point, what has been spent, of around $70.
Brief point of procedure for the senators. So the Chief of Finance has the ability to propose the budget. Ultimately, the budget must be ratified by a 2/3 majority from the Senate and approved by the Dean of Students to actually be enacted. Thank you. This is Level 200, Article 5, Section 5 in the Charter and Bylaws. So please do reference the document as always. Are there any further questions from any of the senators or association members?
I'm sorry, point of information really quickly. How much of, I'm sorry if I missed it, how much of the budget exactly is going towards the relief fund for the current pandemic we're facing, as well as how is it being, how can I say, distributed to students?
So that really comes down a lot to how the association chooses to use those funds. So given the way that the Constitution outlines my position, my trying to use the budget in order to place it into any specific stock, i.e. if I wanted to put 25% into going to the emergency relief fund, that would be inappropriate. Any use of the SGA general fund has to be approved by a 2/3 vote. Now, that being said, I can say that in the spring or in the fall, for instance, we used 35% of the budget into the SGA Emergency Relief Fund, which was distributed to students who applied through the CARES team. And I definitely do hope that this semester, now that we're able to shift gears necessarily from just trying to get the administration up and running to more of being able to actually focus on getting and thinking through and executing these different relief programs, that I hope there to be a lot of really awesome ideas for how we can actually assist the students. And I hope to see, how those actually play out.
Thank you.
Of course.
Okay. Sorry, I just wasn't sure because I'm part of the Judicial Council. Just point of information. So for the money that the senators receive, I guess for their allotted time, I know for the second semester, for the spring semester, you said that you would hope to not have that as an option. So for this semester, what happens to the money that the senators receive? Like, will that go towards the funding, or will that just remain like for the senators?
So I think I understood the question correctly. But in the event that I don't actually fully answer it, just please let me know and I'll be more than happy to clarify.
Yeah,
But
sorry, I wasn't.
looking at what we had previously. So this is the fall 2020 budget that we had, and you could see that 3.9% went to the individual senators' funding. And so with this proposed budget, the additional money is just split between the SGA General Fund and the SOIS Fund. But all of the money that the senators currently have in their accounts to be able to use will roll over into the spring semester for them to still be able to use. They just won't be allocated any additional funds.
Okay, and that money can't be, I guess, should senators choose to be added to the general funds? Or is that just for their personal, I guess, use?
So it's typically for their personal use within their specific area within the SGA. For instance, SASN senators might use it to contribute to programs that the dean of SASN is working on, for instance. But if a senator were to so choose to contribute their money back into the general fund, that's absolutely something that could happen. They just have to let me know and I'd transfer it back in.
Okay.
Point of information. Are we allowed to use our Senate money for like food drives or toy drives of any kind that aren't necessarily located on campus? So like not for a club, like for a community organization, maybe?
Sadly, any funds that we have to be utilized in a way that they're accessible to all students on campus for the betterment of people on campus. For that reason, we're not actually allowed to donate any money to any sort of like outside organizations or anything that would do like egalitarian work and things like that. Also, we can't use it necessarily to buy like canned goods for food drives. It's something that it would have to be, the way that the money is actually used and implemented would have to be directly to benefit students at the university. The reason behind this just kind of stems from the idea that all of our funding is gotten from student fee money. And for that, it has to be equitable to all students who have paid that. So they have to be able to get their money back, if that makes sense.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Chief of Finance. If there are any further questions, we do ask that in the interest of time, you direct them to the Chief of Finance directly or just in the SGA chat. Sorry, excuse me. Yeah, I'd love to see further legislation from the legislative branch of the association about initiatives where we can use the funding. Moving on to the next item of the agenda. We finished executive reports and we're now moving on to committee reports. Are there any reports from the Internal Affairs Committee?
May I be recognized?
Recognized speaker.
Thank you. So today the Internal Affairs Committee is finally going to have their first ever meeting involving strictly the charter and bylaws to start coming up with creating a list on the things that we want to tackle, that basically the holes in the charter and bylaws. We want to take a closer look at what needs further elaboration. So we will be having a meeting today. It'll be our first ever meeting, not constituting anything pertinent to the elections. And as always, everyone is free to join. So if you want to join us, please just message me. Thank you. I yield my time to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Speaker. Are there any reports from the Elections Committee?
Chairman, may I please request the floor?
Recognized.
Thank you. Morning, everyone. Or actually, good afternoon. Sorry, I just looked at the time. So report from the Elections Committee. Right now, we actually just finalized preparing for today's induction ceremony, finalizing any scripts that we had, the oath of office, which, interesting enough, we actually don't have an oath in the charter and bylaws, so that's something that we're looking forward to fix, hopefully with the Internal Affairs Committee that I just so happen to be part of as well. Other than that, I really can't think of anything else that we have to report. So really excited for this. Induction ceremony coming up later. So I yield my time back.
Thank you, University Cider. Are there any reports from the media committee?
May I request the floor?
Recognized.
Hello, everyone. Akwe Borte, the media senator. So the media committee, we were able to meet yesterday. We were also able to meet with the health committee, and we're planning. The currently unformed health committee, but we're looking forward to working together with the health committee and sharing information in relation to health updates like COVID cases and how students can how students can be safe, basically. So we're basically going to be sharing information on that in the near future. Also, the media committee met yesterday and we spoke about something that was pretty interesting. So we are currently aware that not a lot of senators are having like students coming into their office hours, like on Zoom. So the idea that came up was that we were thinking that senators, if you're willing to, you're gonna go on IG lives and speak with students, given that that's a more engaged environment for students. This is something that is not compulsory, but it's highly recommended because we do understand that not a lot of students come to office hours. Some things you could talk about are like sharing resources on campus. I know we all have different constituents and we all have things that we do want to talk about. So whenever you're free during your office hours, and this is going to happen during your office hours, so you don't have to allocate any other time out of your week. It's just your normal office hour, and it's not compulsory. You could also talk about diversity talk or things that you think are very important for students to know. And I think this would be something great. So be on the lookout for if any of the media committee members reach out to you, please be very responsive. We beg of you. If you don't want to do it, that's totally fine. But we ask that you do respond to whatever you have to say. Also, yeah, that's all we have for now. We do actually have things that we want to discuss, but discussions are still going on with that. So after we discuss about that, we'll get back to you. So, but that's and this is just a current information that I had to provide today. The YouTube live stream, we're having a little bit of technical difficulties, but we're getting a hang of it. So yeah, if you do happen to go onto the YouTube live stream and see some technical difficulties, it's all part of the learning process. So thank you for your cooperation. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Chair. We really do appreciate it. Instagram Live sounds very exciting. I'd love to hear more about that. Are there any reports from the Sexual Assault Prevention Committee?
Mr. Chairman, may I request the floor, please?
Of course.
Hi, everyone. Sarah Shobad, School of Arts and Sciences representative to the University Senate. So as the Sexual Assault Prevention Committee Chair, we are currently, I will admit that I've not been on my best game when it comes to this Sexual Assault Prevention Committee, just because the Elections Committee has kind of taken up most of my time and energy. But we are setting up a meeting. Hopefully, I'm reaching out to the previous members from last year and the year before that. I have an email that's ready to be sent out to VPPA to ask for a liaison between us and VPPA, as well as setting up a meeting with Angelica, who is the student employee with the Title IX office. Hopefully we can come up with a few programs that will be set to launch during the spring semester. And if any senators want to join, please make my hotline bling. Please, we need more hands on deck. And yeah, thanks.
Thank you, University Senator. I know I've been neglecting to add this to the agenda, but are there any reports from the Diversity Committee?
Mr. Chairman, may I
have permission to speak?
Recognized.
Thank you. Yes, regarding the Diversity Affairs Committee, I believe we're one member short to be officially considered a committee. But regarding the plans that we have for the future, unfortunately, due to the classes I have, I really have not been able to plan anything. But I'm definitely going to reach out to Gary from IRC so we can start planning for initiatives for the spring semester, especially considering we have the cultural week during the April spring semester. Also, spring semester there is Black History Month, and there is also Asian Specific History Month. So I really want to plan events or campaigns for that. And regarding my plans for before the semester ends, I want to do like 25 days of, sorry, apologies, 15 days of yoga as part of the Distress Fest. I'm going to reach out to the Office of Community Standards. And yeah, those are the plans that I have. And again, I'm terribly sorry for lacking behind planning things for Diversity Affairs Committee.
Thank you, Senator. Obviously, we all have multiple responsibilities. I know multiple senators have mentioned that. I know that a lot of the association members are on different organizations. So if there's anything that we can do to support you, please just let us know. Talking to De-Stress Fest, I know that our vice president is also working on initiatives regarding that if anyone's interested in reaching out. So thank you. Moving forward to the next item on the agenda, we have University Senator reports. In the interest of time, I know that voting to lay on the table and move forward with induction might take a little bit longer. We do ask that the university senators keep their reports brief if possible. So are there any reports from the university senators?
May I request the floor?
Recognized.
All right. Afternoon again, everyone. For those that do not know, I'm the SAS-N rep to the University Senate, one of them. And I sit currently in the University Governance and Structure Committee. And so at the meeting that we had on Friday, basically I'm tasked to do some fact finding in regards to a charge that's pending about the official formal and informal creations of SGAs. So like basically doing a study as to how this SGA was formed, as well as the potential of, academic schools, in New Brunswick, they have their own SGAs in each academic schools, seeing why we don't have one here, how do we came to be the one that we're at, the SGA that we are today, and how to solidify or codify formal processes in the future, if a student or group of students wish to do so. So that's my report from my end. I yield my time back.
Thank you, University Senator. Are there any other university senators with anything to report?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, may I request the floor?
Recognized.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Again, this is Sarah Schultz, Senate Rep to the University Senate. So very much like my co-senator Ricky talked about the history of the creation of SGAs, I serve as the co-chair of the Student Affairs Committee, and we also were charged to look into the same kind of information and history of SGAs. And we are working with the University Structure and Governance. And also we were charged with looking into the relationship between undergraduate students and the Alumni Association. And I believe Senator Brianna Santiago is the one that's in charge of doing so. So that charge will be due sometime in February. And the charge about the SGAs will be due in December. So we will be hopefully talking to Dean Williams and other members of the university to come up with the research and the resolutions.
Thank you, University Senator. Are there any other university senators with reports?
May I request the floor?
Recognized.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Camilla, and I am the SPA representative to the University Senate. I'm currently in the Instruction, Curricula, and Advising Committee, which is currently charged with reviewing and advising any policies and any type of planning that has started since remote instruction has started. So currently, we have yet to submit this plan, but we're hoping to do so in the next meeting coming up. But I just wanted to mention that one of the things that we are talking about is the pass or no credit. Sorry, my brain just went out of there. But the pass or no credit, which is something that we are talking about here right now. Just wanted to stress how important it is to make sure that we get the students to really voice their opinions on how they feel about the semester and how they feel about pass no credit. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you, University Senator. I put my report in the chat. Are there any other university senators with anything to report? Okay, hearing none, in the interest of time, we're going to be moving on to new business and the induction ceremony. If there are university senators with reports, I request that you add it as an agenda item for the following meeting and contact myself. So if the elections committee, the speaker and the vice president would be able to begin the ceremony. I believe we're starting with the swearing of new senators by the speaker. I'm not exactly sure how this will proceed, so I leave it to the speaker.
Okay, thank you. So hello, everyone. My name is Tanu Patel. I'm the Speaker of the Senate, and I would like to welcome you all to the induction ceremony of the Student Governing Association Fall 2020 Senator-elects. So I'm going to go alphabetically by your first name. So Brendan Lugo Perez, you are first. Please, maybe we should all start our video since I need to know if your right hand is up. This directly for the new senators. Is Brendan here? I can't see you. I don't know. Oh, okay. I see you. You're on the next page. Okay. So Brendan Lugo Perez, please put your right hand over your heart and your left hand up. You have been elected for the SPA Senator position of the Rutgers Newark Student Governing Association. Are you ready to take the oath of an officer for the SPA Senator position?
I am.
Okay. Repeat after me. I do affirm that.
I do affirm that.
I will faithfully execute the powers of the position.
I will faithfully execute the powers of the position.
To which I was elected and will.
To which I was elected and will.
To the best of my ability.
Best of my ability.
Abide by, preserve, and uphold.
Abide by, preserve, and uphold.
The charter and bylaws of the Rutgers University Newark Student Governing Association.
The charters and the bylaws of the Rutgers Newark. I forgot the rest.
University Newark Student Governing Association.
University Newark Student Governing Association.
On behalf of.
On behalf of.
The undergraduate students of Rutgers University Newark.
The undergraduate students of Rutgers University Newark.
Congratulations on your election.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, next we have Christine Khalil. Am I pronouncing your last name correctly?
Yeah, that's correct.
Awesome. Now I need to find where you are. Okay, there we go. Okay, so Christine, are you ready?
Yep.
Please put your right hand over your heart and your left hand up. You have been elected for the new student senator position of the Rutgers Newark Student Governing Association. Are you ready to take the oath of office of the new student senator?
Yes, I am.
Repeat after me. I do affirm that.
I do affirm that.
I will faithfully execute the powers of the position.
I will faithfully execute the powers of the position.
To which I was elected and will.
To which I was elected and will.
To the best of my ability.
To the best of my ability.
Abide by, preserve, and uphold.
Abide by, preserve, and uphold.
The charter and bylaws of the Rutgers University Newark Student Governing Association.
The charter and bylaws of the Rutgers Newark Newark University Student Governing Association.
Yes, on behalf of.
On behalf of.
The undergraduate students of Rutgers University Newark.
The undergraduate students of Rutgers University Newark.
Congratulations on your election.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna put this in the chat for y'all to follow along. I should have done that before, sorry guys. Oops, I sent it wrong. Okay, there we go. So next on my list is David Doughty. Am I pronouncing your last name correctly?
You actually said my last name right on the first try.
Oh, okay.
Okay, my camera's
Are you
coming on.
able to show your camera? I mean, turn your camera
Yes, so because I'm in public, my mask is on, but I can still have the camera on.
Okay, that's totally fine. Thank you. All right, so David Doughty, please put your right hand over your heart, or I mean, thank you, and your left hand up as best as you can. You have been elected for the Student Affairs Senator position of the Rutgers Newark Student Governing Association. Are you ready to take the oath of office for the Student Affairs Senator position?
Yes.
Repeat after me. I do affirm that.
I do affirm that.
I will faithfully execute the powers of the position.
I will faithfully execute the powers of the position.
Which I was elected and will.
Which I was elected.
And will, to the best of my ability.
And will, to the best of my ability.
Abide by, preserve, and uphold.
Abide by, preserve, and uphold.
The charter and bylaws of the Rutgers University Newark Student Governing Association.
The Rutgers Charter, bylaws of Rutgers University's Governing Association.
Let's try that again. The charter and bylaws.
Yeah. The charter and bylaws.
Of the Rutgers University Newark.
Of the Rutgers University Newark.
Student Governing Association.
Student Governing Association.
On behalf of.
On behalf of.
The undergraduate students.
The undergraduate students.
Of Rutgers University Newark.
Of Rutgers University Newark.
Congratulations on your election.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have Devon Corey.
I'm here.
Why can't I see you? Okay, I see you. Okay. Devon Corey, correct? That's correct,
yeah.
Right? Okay, awesome. So Devon Corey, please put your right hand over your heart and your left hand up. You have been elected for the new student senator of the Rutgers Newark Student Governing Association position. Are you ready to take the oath of office for the new student senator position?
Yes, I am.
Repeat after me. I do affirm that.
I do affirm that.
I will faithfully execute the powers of the position.
I will faithfully execute the powers of the position.
To which I was elected.
To which I was elected.
And will, to the best of my ability.
And will, to the best of my ability.
Abide by, preserve, and uphold.
Abide by, preserve, and uphold.
The charter and bylaws.
The charter and bylaws.
Of the Rutgers University Newark Student Governing Association.
of the Rutgers University Newark's Student Governing Association,
on behalf of
the
undergraduate students of University of Newark.
of the undergraduate students of Rutgers University Newark.
Congratulations on your election.
Thank you.
Next, we have Jordan Warner. She is not here. Okay, thank you so much for informing me. We will move on to Pragya Pradeep.
Here. Can you see?
Awesome. Yes, I can see you now. Okay. Pragya Pradeep, are you ready? Please put your right hand over your heart and your left hand up. You have been elected for the University Rutgers Business School Senator position of the Rutgers Newark Student Governing Association. Are you ready to take the oath of office for the University Rutgers Business School Senate position?
Yes.
Repeat after me. I do affirm that
I do affirm that
I will faithfully execute the powers of the position
I will faithfully execute the powers of the position
to which I was elected and will, to the best of my ability, abide by, preserve, and uphold the charter and bylaws of the Rutgers University Newark Student Governing Association. On behalf of the undergraduate students of Rutgers University Newark. Congratulations on your election.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Next, we have Sateva Williams.
Hello.
Hello, Sateva. Okay. Sateva Williams, please put your right hand over your heart and your left hand up. You have been elected for the Academic School of Public Affairs and Administration Senate position of the Rutgers Newark Student Governing Association. Are you ready to take the oath of office of Academic School of Public Affairs and Administration Senator?
Yes.
Repeat after me. I do affirm that
I
will faithfully execute the powers of the position
I will faithfully execute the powers of the position
to which I was elected and will, to the best of my ability, abide by, preserve, and
Go ahead, sorry.
abide by, preserve, and uphold the charter and bylaws of the Rutgers University Newark Student Governing Association.
Of the Rutgers Newark University Student Government Association.
On behalf of the undergraduate students of Rutgers University Newark.
On behalf of the can you repeat that?
Undergraduate students of Rutgers.
Undergrad students of Rutgers University Newark.
Congratulations on your nomination.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, that's it. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Speaker. Now I recognize we are running a little bit over time. I understand this is not exactly according to Robert's Rules of Order, but I would like to hear a motion to extend the time until 1 o'clock so that we may finish the induction ceremony for Judicial Council. Do I hear a motion to extend the meeting till 1?
Motion to extend the meeting till 1.
Okay, it's been motioned by Senator Hussain and seconded by Senator Habib. Thank you very much. Congratulations to all of the newly elected and inducted senators. So motioned by seconded. We will now move to a simple majority vote in the interest of time. All those in favor of extending the meeting until 1 o'clock, that's an additional 5 minutes, say aye.
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 Fantastic. All those opposed, say nay.
Aye.
Okay, very well. The ayes have it, and we have another 5 minutes. Thank you all. I'm sorry for the abruptness and brevity. If the Vice President would be able to continue with the induction ceremony.
Yes, so hello everyone. First of all, congratulations to all the new senators. We're so happy to have you with us on the SGA. So I'm going to go ahead and move on with the induction of the Judicial Council members. I'm going to start with the Chief Arbitrator and then move on to the Associate Arbitrator. So is Samantha Sanchez here? Let me look through. I saw her earlier.
Am I frozen? Can you see me?
Oh, I see. Wait. I can't really see your camera. Okay, I can see you now. Perfect.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, great.
Awesome. So, to begin, Samantha Sanchez, please put your right hand over your heart and your left hand up. Okay. You have been elected into the Chief Arbitrator of the Rutgers Newark Student Governing Association. Are you ready to take the oath of office of Chief Arbitrator?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Repeat after me, please. I do affirm that.
I do affirm that.
I will faithfully execute the powers of the position.
I will faithfully execute the powers of the position.
To which I was elected and will.
To which I was elected and will.
To the best of my ability.
To the best of my ability.
Abide by, preserve, and uphold.
Abide by, preserve, and uphold.
The Charter and bylaws.
The Charter and bylaws.
Of the Rutgers Newark Student Governing Association.
Of the Rutgers Newark Student Governing Association.
On behalf of undergraduate students of Rutgers University Newark, congratulations on your election.
Thank you.
Okay, now I will move on to the associate arbitrators. So I will start with Angie Ruiz.
Hello, everyone.
Hi. Okay, so Angie Ruiz, please put your right hand over your heart and your left hand up.
Oh, wait. Sorry.
You have been elected as associate arbitrator of the Rutgers University Newark Student Governing Association.
Oh, do I have to repeat that? That I have been elected?
Oh,
okay, that's what I thought.
Are you ready to take the oath of office of associate arbitrator?
Yes.
Okay, repeat after me. I do affirm that.
I do affirm that.
I will faithfully execute the powers of the position.
I will faithfully execute the powers of the position.
To which I was elected and will.
To which I was elected and will.
To the best of my ability.
To the best of my abilities.
Abide by, preserve, and uphold.
Abide by, preserve, and uphold.
The Charter and bylaws of the Rutgers University Newark.
The Charter and bylaws of Rutgers University Newark.
Student Governing Association.
Student Governing Association.
On behalf of the undergraduate students at Rutgers University Newark, I congratulate you on your nomination.
Thank you.
Okay, next I will be moving on to Jeremy Agueda, if that's how I pronounce your name.
Jeremy Argetta, that's fine.
Okay. So Jeremy Argata, please put your right hand over your heart and your left hand up. Okay, that's fine. You have been elected as associate arbitrator of the Rutgers University Newark Student Governing Association. Are you ready to take the oath of office as associate arbitrator?
Yes.
So repeat after me, please. I do affirm that
I do affirm that
I will faithfully execute the powers of the position
I will faithfully execute the powers of position
to which I was nominated and will,
to which I was nominated and will,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
abide by, preserve, and uphold
abide by, preserve, and uphold
the charter and bylaws of the Rutgers University Newark Student Governing Association.
the charters and bylaws of the last part I forgot.
University Newark Student Governing Association.
Rules of Newark Government Association.
On behalf of the undergraduate students of Rutgers University Newark, I congratulate you on your nomination.
Thank you.
Okay, and last we have Lauren Wolfe. Are you here? Let me look.
Sorry.
Two arbitrators left.
I'm also second to last. I guess Aria would be after me. And it's full.
I see. Okay, perfect. All right. So